It's like school, isn't it? Everyone's obviously excited to be here. So could I just restart the meeting? It was adjourned from Wednesday, and I guess that over the last couple of days we've debated and voted on a number of amendments to the recommendations that I'm bringing to the meeting today, so there are a series of things that we're going to do today, because obviously we really want to allow time for the debate on the long-term plan as a whole. So I'll just run through the order of play so that people can follow what's going on, and I guess people can think about the fact that everyone's going to contribute to the debate on the long-term plan. There were a couple of things that happened on Wednesday that didn't quite make it into the record. So I just want to deal with both of those. One was when the list of reports went up, I had inadvertently sent the wrong document, so it didn't include the last of the reports that was to be included. And so I'm going to ask for the record that Carleen Edwards, our Chief Executive, be asked to report on options for bringing some or all current city care operations into an internal council works unit. This report to include considerations for incorporating some or all of City Care's current services into the council organisation or a separate works department, including information on reduced overheads and other efficiencies and options for transferring the remaining SCIRT program to council. So, that report was left off the list, and that was my mistake because I forwarded the wrong document. So that will now be included on the list, and Carleen will give us an initial update by the end of August on that. And the second one was the Matuku waterway, and people will recall that during the hearings we heard a very desperate plea from a couple of people who were badly impacted by the flooding that occurred in relation to that. And the issue that came to council was that, and when we were considering it on Tuesday and Wednesday, was that that particular waterway wasn't directly, the causing of the flooding wasn't directly associated with the earthquake, and so it was in the land drainage operations program, but in actual fact it was indirectly caused by the earthquake, because it would have been completed if the development contributions had been paid by the subsequent development of the area above, which was red zoned. And so the opportunity to develop that waterway has actually gone from that program, which does expose them to some risk. So I'm directing that the Chief Financial Officer transfer the Matuku waterway from the Land Drainage Operations Program to the Land Drainage Recovery Program. And what that does is that it enables that work to be prioritised alongside all of the other earthquake-related flooding damage. So those two matters are attended to, and I don't know if you need the wording of that to address that, so that it's in the record as having been sorted. And then we're going to reinstate the standing orders that we put to one side in order to allow for amendments. We then move on to the development contributions paper, and that's the second set. It's on page 136 of the agenda, and so we'll deal with the development contributions. The second thing we'll do is receive the letter of opinion from Audit New Zealand. Then we will deal with the development contributions. Then we'll move on to the staff's recommendations, which have been moved and seconded. We'll deal with my recommendations with amendments, but we'll vote on it in two parts. Prior to voting on it, we will table and agree to receive the impact that the decisions that we made this week, the impact that they have on rates. And so we will then deal with the two components, two parts of it. Some of the Mayor's recommendations will be put together and others will be put separately. So the ones that will be put separately, just so you can make a note, are items 2, 4.21 and 4.22. And then the next set of recommendations are 6.2, 3, 4, 6, so we'll vote on those, and 6.5 we'll vote on that separately, and then we will have the debate at 6.7, which is the point at which we adopt the long-term plan, and that is the debate that everyone has an opportunity to speak for 5 minutes. So it's a substantial and substantive debate on our long-term plan and vision for our city in terms of what we want to achieve. So that is the process that we're going through. So I would like to move that we reinstate the standing orders that we suspended. And would someone like to second that? Phil, I'll put that motion. I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. That's carried.
Can I just ask a question of clarification? In terms of the actual plan that we're adopting, have we got an updated infrastructure strategy and financial strategy based on the changes, or is it we make changes to those after we make the decisions today? And I guess the other outstanding piece of information that I'm still waiting to get, which we were given an undertaking, is the costing and the timing of the anchor projects and where they currently sit in our long-term plan. So I'm just a little bit trying to understand where those things are now sitting.
Peter.
So for helping work through how this process is working, we start from the draft long-term plan as the base case. That is adapted and changed based on the Mayor's recommendations and the amendments that were passed on the last couple of days or will be passed. So that then forms the final. What we were able to produce with the financial strategy and infrastructure strategy was obviously correct up until the point at which amendments were made, and any subsequent changes that have to be made to that document happen over the next month before publication. In terms of Councillor Johansson's request around particularly anchor projects, those are set out in the main within the draft long-term plan, and I'd refer the councillor to the proposed funded capital program within volume 1 of the draft long-term plan, particularly pages 233 through to 238, with the only changes to that draft coming up through updates from the CCDU website. The ownership and timing of those are reflected both in the draft and any updates, which was really only Metro Stadium by 1 year, which was non-impactful within the base case that councillors have been reviewing and debating. So that's the situation there.
Thank you very much. So the next item on the agenda